Hello everybody, this is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Welcome to today's Critical Thought. This is going to be talking about some of my game design blind spots. I don't have a relevant post today, but that's alright. Despite playing video games for over 25 years at this point, there are some genres that, for one reason or another, just have not been able to hook me. One of those being a racing game, and we'll come back to that in a few minutes. Another reason why I want to talk about them is I'm curious to see, for those of you listening or watching this, what games you would recommend for me to try and break this dry spell. But let's begin. I think we'll begin with the ever-popular gamer stereotype, the sports genre. Sports games and I have never really got along. The last time I played a sports game, or a football game actually, would be NFL 2K2. So I think that should give you an idea of my expertise with sports. The whole sport genre has never really hooked me. And I think part of it is the fact that it's more about playing other people than exploring the depth and growth of the mechanics. It's not like a roguelike where it's about understanding how the systems work and figuring out ways of exploiting or mitigating them, or action games where it's about the player's own skill. When you play a game like Madden, once you understand the controls and the basics, it's more about playing other people. And I think that's one of the reasons why I just never really got into it, because I'm more of a mechanic person. And that goes for just about any sport game I think out there. I've tried tennis, racing, we'll come back to that in a minute, football obviously, and more. I think the other football game I actually played was like Madden 94 or 95 for the 3DO. There was a brief window back in 2002 where I started watching football and even playing it with some friends, and that lasted about 30 days, and then I was back to normal. Another genre, of course, is racing. Now this one I do have some of a legitimate reason for it. I really am not a big car person. I was born with problems with my right leg that prevent me from driving and operating a normal vehicle, so cars and the like just never really hooked me. I've recently gone into watching stories on classic cars or restoring them, but the thought of driving a car doesn't interest me. And we can of course talk about one of the biggest names in racing, that's Gran Turismo. Now obviously there is one after this one, but this is the last one that I bought. And I bought this pretty much just to see what the height of the racing genre would be like. And while I can appreciate it, I literally played it for about 20 minutes and didn't hook me. Just bounce off it. But what's very weird is that even arcade or non-realistic racing games also don't hook me either. I tried the Burnout series, Mario Kart, Sonic Racing, and probably a lot more that I'm forgetting, and I run into the same problem with the sports genre, that there's only so much you can really learn, and then the rest is just competing with other people. Now another big genre, and one that I may get some flack for, is the tabletop genre, or the pen and paper genre. Actually, there are two different ones. We'll start with pen and paper. I have never gotten into the pen and paper genre. I think part of it, again, is because of my bad leg. I haven't been able to be as mobile as I wanted to, so I could never get out to a lot of community places or areas or stores where they had D&D and stuff like that. And because I never grew up with it, the whole CRPG genre, Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, etc., just never grabbed me. In fact, my first exposure to actually what D&D was would probably be watching the episode of Community when they actually were playing it. And I was like, oh, so that's what you do when you play Dungeons & Dragons. I've tried a few of the games in the past, like I said, Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, etc., and they've just never managed to hook me. But I think a part of that is the fact that I'm more of a action player. I prefer games about player skill rather than character abstraction, with exception to roguelikes. It's why I like the Dark Souls series, Devil May Cry, God Hand, etc. With the tabletop genre, or more of the board games, same reason. Never been able to get out to any of these public places, so I couldn't even pick any of them up because who would I really play them with? Another big genre that just hasn't managed to grab me are simulator games. I'm talking, train simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, Goat Simulator. Any of those genres or any of those games just never got to me. And I think it's just the fact that when I play video games, I play them more to escape. So to play a game that's me sitting and driving in like virtual Europe for like a few hours, never were for me. I can see the appeal of those games, especially the airplane simulator genre. I know a lot of people love like the World War II flight sims, and even modern day ones, but same reason. I just don't play games to experience that kind of thing. Another big genre, and another one that I'm sure people are going to call me out on, would be the sandbox genre. Games like The Sims, Minecraft, etc. It goes back again to the fact that I've always been a mechanics or achievement person. I need to have a carrot on the stick to go after. I need some kind of long-standing goal, or the game just doesn't interest me. And there's a whole critical thought waiting on that to come up with about achievement-focused games or the achievement progression model. But games like Minecraft and the like, I play them for a few minutes, I see what the mechanics are about, and then I just lose interest. Now, another unusual genre, or one I'm sure most of you will know that I'm not a fan of, would be the visual novel one. Other than Gone Home and Her Story, the genre just doesn't interest me. Again, I play games for the mechanics and the system interaction. Story for me is like a distant third or fourth on my priorities list. So it's just not something for me to get into, but I definitely see the appeal. I know a lot of people who love stuff like Hot for Boyfriend and Dear Esther, Gone Home, and the like. Which also takes me to the quote-unquote walking simulator genre. Another one, again, focusing on story, just isn't my cup of tea. And other than that, there really aren't too many genres that I will just flat out ignore or just won't have much of an interest in. The adventure genre has been one that I've been on and off again with over the years, playing games like Sam & Max, The Walking Dead, and even try some like the older ones like Myst and King's Quest. Same goes for JRPGs. There was a window during the 90s I was into them, then I stopped, then I got back in love with them with Shin Megami Tensei, and now I pick and choose at this point. But one of my favorite games was Etrian Odyssey, but that was more modeled after CRPG games for the time. So I think that's going to do it. This is going to be a quick, critical thought today. Again, it's more about my opinion on the matter rather than going in depth about a topic. But I can give you a preview for our next one. I'm going to be talking about peripherals. So I still have my Super Scope here, and that will be featured tomorrow. As I said at the start, if you have any particular design blind spots you'd like to share, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And if you think you can recommend a game for me to try, or something for me to, I guess, is a good gateway into these genres, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And as always, be sure to subscribe to the Patreon campaign in order to keep these things supported and allow me to put out more content if we can hit some goals. That's going to do for today's Critical Thought, and I will see you all tomorrow with another one. Take care. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, of course, share with your friends. It always helps out. Check out game-wisdom.com, where I examine the art and science of games. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter under GW Bycer for the latest updates of new content. And be sure to check out our Patreon campaign. You can find us on Patreon under Game Wisdom if you would like to donate and help contribute to keeping Game Wisdom going. Your donations can not only give us the monthly funding we need to keep supporting ourselves, but if we can hit some goals, it will mean more great content for you, and there are some nifty little rewards there as well. Thanks for watching this video, and be sure to tune into the next one real soon.